Hi there, Cat French here. Last week, Mark asked us at Thoughtwrestling to come up with our recommended reading list for summer reading, and I thought it would be fun to do a video post from my back deck. I've got some really nice weather happening, a nice light breeze, it's sunset, and I like to come out here and read a lot of times, so I figured it would be kind of appropriate. This year, I'm going to be rereading some of my old favorites as well as rereading some new favorites, and I figured I would share them with you. The first book that I'm going to recommend is A Creative Companion by SARK. SARK stands for Susan Ariel Rainbow Kennedy. She's a pretty well-known writer who writes on the subject of creativity and inspiration. One of her better-known books is Succulent Wild Woman. The Creative Companion is sort of a workbook for kind of getting in touch with your childlike, playful, creative side. There's a lot of really fun illustrations and a lot of bright colors, and there's just a very playful vibe to the whole book. So if you're feeling a little too grown up and serious to create, it's a good book to read during those times. Um, Next book I'm going to recommend that I've read several times, and it's one of those that I pick up pretty much whenever I need some inspiration to get back to the page, is Julia Cameron's The Right to Write. The subtitle of it is An Invitation and Initiation into the Writing Life. And it's just a series of essays about writing with like writing prompts and different things like that at the end of it. You could use it as a workbook or like a workshop for getting yourself going on writing if you were kind of having a doldrums period. But the biggest part of it is just that invitation to write. And sort of permission to write when everything else in your life feels like when it feels like writing is being crowded out of your life, which happens to me a lot. Um, the right to write is how I give myself permission to push back and make the time to write. Very good book. Julie Cameron's probably better known for The Artist's Way, and I've heard that that's a very good book. I haven't read it, but I do know that she also recommends the whole morning pages thing, where you write 3 pages of longhand, just whatever free association stuff that comes out of your head. And I have done that, and it's been really helpful. Um, Talked about creativity and being a writer. Another part of my life is as a parent and a mom. The first book that I'm going to mention to you is called ScreamFree Parenting. It's by Hal Runkel, who's a licensed family therapist. It's a very different book on parenting than most of them that I've read. Most of them are very rule-based, and this is really more principle-based. It's the big idea behind screen-free parenting is that as the parent, you have to be responsible for yourself, and you have to control your own reactions. And once you learn to do that, and you aren't dependent on your child's behavior for your own sense of well-being, then you can effectively parent. I think the biggest um, idea here is that a lot of times you react emotionally, you react out of proportion, you scream, or whatever screaming is for you, because you need your child to behave well in order for you to feel okay. So it's about getting past that. It's a lot of theory, not a lot of really practical application stuff, but it's a very different theory, and I think it does take the whole book to kind of wrap your head around it. As a parent, I also read to my kids, and going to recommend Zen Shorts by Jon J Muth. Big comic fan from way back. Jon J Muth is a comic artist who has written a book that takes Zen koans, which are teaching stories like parables, and puts them within a framing story about some kids who have a panda move in next door, and the panda tells them these stories. So the illustrations are really beautiful. It's very funny. It's the moral teaching in this book is very light-handed, and it's more about making you think than beating you over the head with the right answer, which I kind of like. in a children's book. And the kids that are drawn in the book, just their gestures and their facial expressions are very, very true to life. I really enjoyed reading the book, and my kids enjoy me reading it to them. So those are my recommended books for the summer. I hope you have a great summer. I hope that you get great weather and that it sparks a period of creative freedom for you. Thanks.